Hare Krishna. You know, the sound I watched this recording on Facebook. Sound is
not
so good.
Not.
Yeah.
That's why we ordered one mic, so
Okay.
it will help us in the future sessions that we.
Oh, hey. No. What?
He doesn't.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. You start. Jai Shri Krishna. Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Bhagavatam,
which is very means of conquest. One should offer respectful obeisance to the personality of God and Narayana Lakshmi, the supermost being, and to Sri Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Sri Vasudeva, the Father. Nashtaprayeshu Bhatreshu Nityam Bhakta Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Sloke Bhakti Bhavati Vishtiti. By regular attendance in presence of the Bhagavatam and by the services to the pure devotee, all the teachers becomes almost complete joy. And loving services unto the personality of God with praise with the transcendental songs is established and irrevocable fact. Ajanati Mirandasya Janjana Shalakaya Chakshuramitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. I was born in darkest of ignorance and this become not minimized with the torches of knowledge. I will wait.
Okay, so today we're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam. We're reading verses 33 to 44, I believe, in chapter 5 of Canto 7. So today I thought we'd do it a little differently. I know you follow the schedule, but what I'll do is for each of the verses, we'll give an explanation, and then we'll go back to the main verse, which is 41. That's okay.
Sure.
Yeah? So what I'll do is we'll go through each of the verses, and after each verse, we'll stop, and then I'll give you a summary, and then we'll go to the next verse, and so on. And then at the end, we'll go back to 41.
Sure.
Is that okay?
Yes, yes, bro.
So before we do that, just like to give you a bit of a preamble, because people that might be here might be new to the Bhagavatam. So the Bhagavatam, as we know, is broken down into 12 cantos, right? How many chapters, does anyone know how many chapters of Bhagavatam? There's 335 chapters in Bhagavatam, okay? 335 chapters. So the 7th canto has 15 chapters, okay? This is the shortest of the three cantos. There are three cantos. Canto 2 has 10 chapters, Canto 12 has 13 chapters, and Canto 7 has 15 chapters, and so on. So it's the shortest of the cantos. And then the longest, of course, is
10.
Canto 10, yes. 90 chapters, right? That's the bulk of that. So together we add it up to 325. Now, Srila Prabhupada, he spent the most time with writing the 7th canto, okay? Even though it's the third shortest canto, he spent the most time. If you look at the purport, it's long, like the purport to 7, 5, 30, 23 is long. You know, it's a very important verse, 25, 23, 24. I think we covered that in the last class or the class before. Very important verse, the numbers and stuff, etc. So Prabhupada spent most time with that because Lord Chaitanya spent the most time with Jagannath Pandit and Gopinath. When you go to Jagannath Puri, you go to Gopinath, Gopinath temple. On the left side of the temple, that's where Jagannath Pandit and Lord Chaitanya read the Bhagavatam, and they read the Bhagavatam many times over again, especially Canto 7. So it's really, when you show Prabhupada, he spent most time with that. So that in mind, it's the most important canto, it's the most relishable canto, because if you look at the canto number 7, after the pastimes of Prahlad Maharaj and Shingadev and Hiranyakashipu, from chapter 1 to chapter 10, chapter 10, the last part, the last chapter on the Shingadev pastimes, talks about Prahlad as he mocks himself, the title of chapter 10. Then we go to chapter 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It talks about how one has to become a perfect human being. How one should act in the Varna, how one should act in the Ashrama, how one should act as sannyasi and avadut. Chapter 14 talks about how one should act in the Grihastha ashram. So for people that are born in family life, read that chapter. And then chapter 15, I know Srila Swami is very smart. He does not leave anything unturned. People that are uncivilized read the Bhagavatam, they become civilized by reading. Chapter 15 is talks about how to be a civilized human being. So these instructions are given by Narada Muni to Yudhishthira. So very important instructions, and it's a very sweet canto. So please, time reading canto number 7. So today we're doing part of chapter 5. Okay? Yeah. Is that okay? All right. Okay. So you can read the translation to 33. Maybe starting with
Translation. After Prahlad Maharaj had spoken in this way and become silent, Kashipu, blinded by anger, threw him off his lap and onto the ground.
Alright, so the key thing here is the word anger. Okay? Hiranyakashipu is angry. Anger, there's only one word separating anger from danger. When we get angry, we put ourselves into a dangerous situation. And when we become dangerous, then what happens is that Bodha Bhava, you know that verse in the Bhagavad Gita, 2.63, when one has anger, then you lose your, ability to distinguish. You forget your ability to distinguish. So 2.63, Bodha Bhavati Samoha, you become bewildered, you become delusioned. And then at the end of that verse, it says, Nashtu Buddhi Pranashati. That is, you lose your intelligence. Okay, so Kashapu lost intelligence. So being angry is not a good thing for devotees. That's the essence of this verse. Okay? So you can move on to the next one. 34. We go back to ladies? We go back and forth?
Indignant and angry, his reddish eyes like molten copper, Hiranyakashipu said to his servants, O demons, take this boy away from me. He deserves to be killed. Kill him as soon as possible.
Right. So this connects with the last verse. So when Hiranyakashipu became angry, Pranashati means everything is destroyed. Lord Krishna says that verse again, use the word Pranashati again in 931. Ponte Pratijani Name Bhakta Pranashati. He says that in 931. That my devotee never perishes. Who gets angry and offends a Vaishnava, his life is destroyed. His punya, all his credits, his chanting, everything is destroyed. But when you started to Krishna, like Prahlad Maharaj did, the total opposite of Hiranyakashipu, he was protected by the Lord. Name Bhakta Pranashati. Okay? One point number one. The second point, in this verse, that's when Nrsimhadev decided to come. As soon as Hiranyakashipu decided to offend a pure Vaishnava, he decided to come. Okay, so that's the important thing. So that was the start of his fall down. Okay? Because as soon as you offend a Vaishnava, there's 6 ways to offend a Vaishnava. You can not say Hare Krishna to him, you can not pay obeisance to him, you not become happy doing that. These are mentioned in the Purana. 6 ways to offend a Vaishnava. And the worst is Hanta, to kill someone. Okay? He wanted to kill his pure devotee, who was very dear to Hiranyakashipu. And that was the start of his fall down, Pranashati. Okay? So therefore, the word Vaishya aparad means to separate yourself. Okay? Apa means to give up, go gains, take away. And Rad basically means, of course, take a Radha, but according to Charles, it means that you lose your Radha means one who has access all prosperity. So when you do Vaishya aparad, you lose all your prosperity and wealth in Krishna consciousness. Is that okay? Alright? Okay. So 35.
This boy, Prahlada, is the pillar of my brother. So he has given up his family to engage in devotion service of the enemy Lord Vishnu like a mere servant.
Jack. Alright. So the purport, when you go into the purport, we'll talk about it, but there's 5 types of liberation that's mentioned by Srila Prabhupada. And we should memorize what are these 5 types of liberation. These are only good enough to get to the Vaikuntha planet. Okay? But as devotees, we aspire to go to where? Govardhan. That's right. We want to go many, many steps higher to Govardhan, because in Vaikuntha planets, we serve the Lord as though the Lord is a king and we're his servants. But in the Govardhan, we can play with the Lord just like we engage with each other in the ashram. We're like friends. We help each other. We have a close relationship. So we get closer to Krishna, and it becomes more Madhurya. It becomes more sweet glories. So devotees always aspire to attain the glories of Golok Vrindavan. Now the yogis and the jnanis, they aspire for Surupya Mukti. Okay? They aspire for Mukti, or what is called Suyuja. Yeah, Suyuja Mukti. Suyuja basically means aspire for the Brahma Jyoti. Okay? So if you're jnani, or you aspire for yogic powers, then you stop at the Brahma Jyoti, and there you do not get a chance to serve, and therefore there's a good chance of falling down. So they return back to this world. Okay? That's all explained in this. So we won't go into that because that's not the thrust of today's talk. I just wanted to mention that because Prabhupada mentioned that. So devotees do not desire for mukti, which are these 5 types of mukti. They desire for vimukti. Okay, vimukti. That's mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita and Bhagavatam. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains. He says that vimukti is, prema purmartha mahan. You heard that famous verse by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? He says that our goal is to attain prema bhakti. And prema bhakti is synonymous in this with vimukti. Vimukti means the highest type of mukti. That is a point of no return. When you do Krishna bhakti, then you get prema bhakti. Is that okay so far? Alright. 36, please.
Although Prahlad is only 5 years old, even at this young age, he has given up his affectionate relationship with his father and mother. Therefore, he is certainly untrustworthy. It is not at all believable that he will behave well toward his.
So this point here, when we read Prabhupada's books, we have to become like a lawyer. We have to look at each and every word. Every word Prabhupada has written is this. Okay? Even every comma, every semicolon, every period is there for this. Okay? So we should look at it very carefully. Here it says Prahlad is a 5-year-old boy. I think in the Sanskrit it says Panchahani. Okay? He's 5-year-old boy. What does it mean in that? It means that devotional service starts at the age of 5. Okay? You can start earlier in the womb, but you should not wait past the age of 5. Okay? And Prahlad Maharaj makes that statement in the next chapter, in 6.1. Okay? He says, Acharya Prajna, Acharya, says Pomara Acharya Prajna. That is, Pomara is the age from 5 to 10. Then there's Nanda, then Kishwara. Right? Lord Krishna, when he was in Vrindavan pastimes, he was Kishwara Yognalu, like that. So therefore, devotional service should start at the latest age 5. Okay? So that's the first point. That's why it said that he was 5 years old. The second point is, according to Hiranyakashipu, he says that this person is untrustworthy. Okay? So much so that he cannot even trust him with Vishnu. Okay? So therefore, it sounds contradictory because he says that I do not trust him, but can even Vishnu him. Okay? So this is the mind of an atheist. Okay? So this is the mind of an atheist. We have to think like an atheist. You do not become an atheist, we have to think, what is he telling us? Okay? So therefore, it is the important thing is why Hiranyakashipu said that, because he knew that because Prahlad Maharaj is taught devotional service, as I mentioned in the last class, when he asked him on his lap, what is your turn? He was talking about devotional service. And therefore, Hiranyakashipu says that you are the supporter of Vishnu, and therefore you are the killer of my brother. Vishnu killed Hiranyaksha, and therefore he says you are the direct killer of my brother as well. And therefore he became very angry and envious to Prahlad Maharaj. Is that okay? Next one, number 37, please.
Although a medicinal herb being born in the forest does not belong to the same category as a man, if beneficial, it is kept very carefully. Similarly, if someone outside one's family is favorable, he should be given protection like a son. On the other hand, if a limb of one's body is poisoned by disease, it must be amputated so that the rest of the body may live happily. Similarly, even one's own son, if unfavorable, must be rejected, although born of one's own body.
Right. So this is again Hiranyakashipu speaking like a guru. so he's speaking like a doctor and guru. What he's saying is that if there's one bad apple in the family being discarded, okay? He should have said this to Dhritarashtra. But Dhritarashtra, many, you guys after him, okay? But he's right, that. And Janaka Pandit also says that there's something to get rid of immediately. If there's fire in the house, you get rid of it. If there's debt, get rid of it. If there's someone that's in chasing the house, get rid of that person. If you have a bad son, you have to dissociate yourself from that son, okay? So he's right. He's also wrong in another sense, right? Because he does not know the glories of Prahlad Maharaj. So what we do is that we have to use the philosophy of what's called reverse amputation. Okay? So reverse amputation means that as a devotee, we should separate ourselves from non-devotees. Okay, that's the essence of this. Asat Sangyatya Veshachar, as Lord Chaitanya says that. Okay? That's Asat Sangyatya. That is, we should distance ourselves from people that are not in Krishna consciousness. Because that spoils our devotional service. Rupa Goswami says that in Upadesh Amrita. I think you have started Nectar Devotion. I don't know if you covered that verse, but it will come. It will come soon. That is, as devotees, the 6 things that we should do that are favorable devotional service, and 6 things that we should do that are not favorable devotional service. And one of them is to give the association of non-devotees. Okay? Like that. So therefore, he's instructing us that we should give up. He wants to give up, he wants to amputate Prahlad Maharaj away from his family dynasty. As devotees, you should distance yourselves from non-devotees like Hiranyakashipu. Is that okay?
Yes.
So reverse amputation, that's the philosophy here. To 8.
Just as uncontrolled senses are the enemies of all yogis engaged in advancing in spiritual life, this Prahlada, who appears to be a friend, is an enemy because I cannot control. Therefore, this enemy, whether eating, sitting, or sleeping, must be killed by all means.
Okay. So this verse shows how non-devotees mistrust devotees, okay? So the message here is that now we know that Prahlad Maharaj will be subjugated to many types of torture, right? He'll be thrown off a cliff, he'll be put into a pit of snakes and scorpions, he'll be poisoned, he'll be burned by fire, you know, things that we don't even want to think about. This is the worst case of child abuse in all history, okay? Like that, because Hiranyakashipu is very powerful. He's perhaps the most powerful demon that there ever was and ever will be. Like that, very powerful, much powerful than Kamsa, much more powerful than Rama for sure, and other demons. A very powerful demon. But the point is that we should not imitate what Prahlad Maharaj is going to do. Prahlad Maharaj went to that, you know, sometimes people read this say that, oh, I can now jump in front of a bus. I will fall off a cliff doing skydiving and I'll be fine. Okay? That's not the idea. It's not the idea that, you know this story that in South Africa, this little girl was playing with a ball, and she kicked the ball onto the road and she ran after the ball. And all of a sudden this big, huge truck came and hit her. And she was pushed and thrown up in the air and landed on her lawn. So right away, they took her to hospital. She's unconscious. They were sure they broken something. But they did all the x-rays, CAT scans, everything. She is completely fine. So the doctors were completely, bewildered. How did this huge bus and this little child, no injury, completely. This is true story, okay? True story. So they asked her, and she said, at that time when I felt the impact of the bus, I remember what she did. And I felt when I felt these two giant paws picking me up from each side and lifting me away from this, okay, and planting me on the grass. So, of course, this is a very true story, but not to be imitated, okay? That's the first thing. So we should do what's called Anusharanya. Anusharan, Prabhupada said that. And we should go under the shelter of pure devotees, like Prahlad Maharaj, he's a Mahajan, okay? We should not that. We should not imitate what Lord Shiva did. Drink the halala, like that. We should not do that. We should not, do things that are extraordinary. We should follow these devotees in the line of Parampara. Okay? Anusharan and Anugaran. The second point is that even though some may torture us, Prahlad Maharaj shows us what we should follow, is that we should never think ill of our enemies. Okay? Pandita Sama Darshana, 518 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, right? Brahmanis, like that verse, the whole verse like that. One should be Pandita. That means one who sees enemies and friends as on equal level. So that's the important thing. That's the corollary from this verse. So we should never have any hate towards anyone, according to the Bhagavad Gita. All right. And the third thing is that Hiranyakashipu says that Prahlad Maharaj, he says that right there, okay? Somewhere in the previous verse, he says that he has uncontrolled senses. But we should remember that who's lost control of senses?
Hiranyakashipu himself.
Prahlad Maharaj has full control of senses. He's equipoised, whether he's in distress or in the lap of the Shinga. Okay, not Hiranyakashipu, Lord of Shinga. So he's the same peaceful Prahlad, whether he's in the fire pit, the scorpions, or in the lap of, like that. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, so 39. And then the next we'll do it all together, 39, 40, 41, and so forth.
30.
So you can just read so you just read this one, this is two of us together. Yes, I'll be
Immense Rakshas, the servants of the Lord, thus began studying within the parts of the large body in their tridents. The animals all had playful faces, sharp teeth and reddish, offering birds, ears and hair, and they appeared extremely friendly, making a tremendous sound, shouting, chopping up, piercing. They began striking Raja, who sat silently meditating upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
We go to the next one. This is the verse for today's class. Yeah. We'll go back to that, but we can just read the translation again because it solidifies our minds.
See you.
A person who has no assets in pious activities performs some good deed will have no results. Thus, the weapons of the demons had no tangible effects upon Prahlad Maharaj because he was a devotee undisturbed by material conditions and fully engaged in meditating upon and serving the Supreme Personality of God, who is unchangeable, who cannot be realized by the material senses, and who is the soul of the entire universe.
Great. We'll go to the next last two verses, 42 and 43 and 44. Carry on just reading.
My dear King Yudhishthira, when all the attempts of demons to kill Prahlad Maharaj were futile, the king of the demons, Jagannath, began contriving other means to kill him.
44.
Hiranyakashipu could not kill his son by throwing him behind the fence, throwing him among huge, fearful snakes, and spells, hurling him from the top of a hill, conjuring up illusory tricks, administering poison, starving him, exposing him to serve cold, winds, fire, and water, or throw heavy stones to crush him. When Hiranyakashipu found that he could not in any way harm Prahlada, who was completely sinless, he was in a great anxiety about what to do next.
Right. Okay. Thank you. So, let's go back to 38 for a moment. Okay? Let's go back to verse number 8. Something I wanted to also discuss in that verse. We'll go to the Sanskrit of 38. Please.
Sorry.
No problem.
Some chapter, fifth chapter.
So today I asked Vishaka, could you give me a few more minutes? We'll go a little longer today.
Yeah.
We'll go maybe 5 minutes. Because this is a very sweet part of the Bhagavatam. Of course, Bhagavatam is wherever you it's always sweet. So 38, yes, thank you for the. So listen to the Sanskrit there for a moment. Yes, okay. So our time is in this. But anyways, all right. So maybe the next one, 39. Sorry. Yeah, maybe the next one. But there's a. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Anyway, so one of these verses talks about. Yeah, it's a 41. Sorry. Yeah, go to 41. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Okay. So, it's not there either. But anyways, but there's something there that's very similar to this. And I'll talk about this verse in a moment. So, there's a word called Govinda Pariramita. Govinda and Parabrahmani, which is mentioned in 41, which we'll discuss in a moment, are synonymous. What that means is that the devotee always has the embrace of the Supreme Personality of God. So the theme of today's talk is protection. Okay? When we surrender our Supreme Personality of God, the God, Govinda Pariramita, is always keeping us embraced. So why would Prahlad Maharaj have immunity against all these weapons and this torture? Because he was always embraced by the Supreme Lord. Okay? That's the thing. Why was that? Because he was always thinking, he was always meditating and thinking about the Supreme Lord. He was chanting about the Lord and always thinking about the Lord. Shravanam and Kirtanam. Okay? Like that. Now recently there was a pastime, beautiful pastime. Radha Maharaj visited Govardhan village on Radhashtami. Okay? And he visited a place. So have you been to Govardhan village? Any of you? No? You should go. You have gone, Prabhu? Yeah, so it's a replica of Vrindavan Dham. The whole branch of Dham is there in GVB. It's just 2 hours north by. Okay, so next time you must go. Beautiful, just like Vrindavan. Okay? There, everything is replicated, just like the six Swamis, there's Rasana, there's Yamuna flowing through, there's the Ghats, you can go there. You feel like it's Vrindavan, there's Goshala, everything. There's also a place called Raval. So Raval is the appearance of Srimati Radharani. So when Radhanath Maharaj was there, he first time, which we all know, he says when they were doing the installation of deities there at Raval and Radhashmi here in GEV, he said that he was reminded that when Radharani appeared in this world, we know that she had her eyes closed, right? Because her desire was that the only thing that she would see first and the only thing that she everywhere that she saw was Lord Krishna. Okay? So he said that we should just follow in the footsteps of Radharani. And the best example of that is Prahlad Maharaj. Because he was always thinking about the Lord's feet of Lord Nrsimhadev. It can never be separate. And when you do that, then the Lord always embraces you. He always keeps you very close to him. Okay? That's how we get protection from the Supreme Lord. And that's the point I wanted to make to all of you. Now the fact that he was completely immune to his torture. Reminds of another pastime in the Chaitanya Charitamrita or the Chaitanya Bhagavad. Of another pure devotee who was protected by the Lord when he was tortured. Can anyone remember who that person was? I'm sure you know him. Yes. Yes, thank you. Yes, I get So what happened to him?
So he was trying to get people to chant the mantra. He went to different marketplaces, but he would be completely ridiculed by the people there for chanting. And despite being tortured in such a way, he was relentless. Like he was unaffected. Like he didn't deter from continuing his service.
Yes, that's right. Wonderful. Yes. So Haridas Thakur because he's born in a so-called Muhammad family. If you read go back to Haridas Thakur's pastimes, according to Avittacharya, he wrote about in a book called Prema of the Lost School. Haridas Thakur wrote. Haridas Thakur is basically an incarnation of a Brahmana. He was the son of a Brahmana. He was also in the previous lifetime he was Brahma, and because the Brahma wanted maybe offended the Vishvasis, and therefore he had to take a lower birth in a Mohammedan family. And also he was he was Pradman, yes, not Narad-Muni. Narad-Muni came as Srivasacharya. Right, so there was something mentioned last class, there's a correction. Narad-Muni comes in pastimes of the Lord as Srivasacharya in Parsifra. Okay? So because Prahlad Maharaj, we'll go back to his time, but he, in his previous life, it's mentioned in the Srila Purana, how he came into the life of the demon family. But anyways, so all these three personalities came into one as Haridas Thakur, okay? It's actually said, according to Avittacharya, that he was born into a Brahminical family, but his parents died, and therefore he was adopted by a Mohammedan family, like that, when he took birth in a place in Bangladesh. So therefore he was Mohammedan, so-called Mohammedan by birth, and therefore he was ostracized by the Muslims. They said, why don't you chant the Kalima? The Muslims have to chant the Kalima, okay? These are 6 verses every day that they chant. You know that Allah is the greatest, only prophet is Muhammad, and I only see Muhammad and Prophet and Allah everywhere, okay? Like that, yeah. He said that you're a Muslim, why are you being a Hindu? Okay? So much so that the local Nawab became so angry at him, he told the Qazi, you jailed him, but he's still chanting, so we have to give him more severe punishment. So they took him to 22 marketplaces, and they basically, with a lathi, they lashed him in 22 marketplaces. It is said that they beat him so severely that after the 3rd marketplace, someone surely would have left their life. You know, but Haridas Thakur kept on chanting, and he was not affected. So when there was the Mahaprakash Leela pastimes in Srivasacharya's house, when Mahaprabhu saw his pastimes, he called Haridas Thakur. He showed he showed him the lashes on his back. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed the lashes on his back. He said that I took the lashes, okay, not you, and therefore I protected you. And the reason why I did that is because Haridas Thakur was praying that the Lord, he was ready to kill them with the Sudarshan Chakra. He was seeing his purity was being tortured by all these guards of the Qazi. Okay? He wanted to kill them, but because Haridas Thakur was praying to the Lord, they did not know what they're doing, please do not kill them. Because of that, I did not kill them. I took the lashes. So this is a very similar story to that of Hiranyakashipu, Nrsimhadev, and Prahlad Maharaj. Is that right? That story is beautifully mentioned in the Chaitanya Bhagavad, in the Madhya Leela of that. It's a wonderful story, you can all read another time. Okay? It shows that again, the pure devotee is always embraced by the power, by the arms of the Lord, like that. When we surrender to the Supreme, we always chant His glories and think of Him. Is that okay? All right. So let's go to the plenary verse, which is 41. Okay. So we'll do this. You can repeat after me. Pare Brahmani Anirdeshe Bhagavati Akhil Atmani Atmani Apala Asan Apaniya Yaseva Satkriya. Someone wants to repeat it or?
Pare Brahmani Anirdeshe
Bhagavate Akhilatmane
Apunya Sevi Satkriya.
Together? Okay.
Pare the Supreme Brahmani Anideshe, who is not consumed by the senses, Bhagavati, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Akhilatmani, the Supreme Source of Heaven, Yekalatmani, of those minds who is blood, Apara, without effects, As and Var, who has sex with the person who has he like Satkriya, good activities, like the performance.
So I'm going to give the translation once again, I will get it, but once again, and then the book.
Even though a person who has no assets in pious activities performs some good deed, it will have no result. Thus, the weapons of the demons had no tangible effects upon Prahlad Maharaja, because he was a devotee undisturbed by material conditions and fully engaged in meditating upon and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is unchangeable, who cannot be realized by the material senses, and who is the soul of entire universe.
Prahlad Maharaj constantly and fully engaged in thought of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As it is said, Govinda Parirambitaha. Prahlad Maharaj engaged himself always in meditation, and thus he was protected by Govinda. Just as a small child on the lap of his father or mother is fully protected, a devotee in all conditions is protected by the Supreme. Does this mean that Prahlad Maharaj was attacked by the demons, the Rakshasas, Govinda was also attacked by the demons? This is not possible. There have been many attempts by the demons to hurt or kill the Supreme Personality of God, but he cannot be injured by any material means because he is always in transcendence. Therefore, the word Pare Brahmani here. The demons, the Rakshas, can neither see nor touch the Supreme Lord, although they may superficially think that they are striking the Lord's transcendental body with their material weapons. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is described in the verse as Anideshe. We cannot understand him to be in particular place, for he is all pervasive. Moreover, he is Akilatma, the active principle of everything, even material weapons. Those who cannot understand the position of the Lord are unfortunate. They may think that they can kill the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his devotees, but all their attempts will be futile. The Lord knows how to deal with them.
Yeah. So we'll dissect this Prabhupada by Srila Prabhupada, a lot of things Prabhupada says. Now, whenever we read the Bhagavatam, we should always reference the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so Bhagavad Gita, we know that the Battle of Mahabharata was fought over a total of 18. Okay, and in the Bhagavad Gita, many warriors were killed. Both on the side of the Kauravas and the side of the Pandavas. Now, on one of the last days, on the I think it was the 9th day, Bhishma was ready to kill Arjuna. They tried to kill Yudhishthira, but they could not, because if they kill the king, then the war is over. Okay? So they tried to kill the next powerful warrior, which is Arjuna. So we know that Bhishma was almost ready to kill Arjuna, and at that moment, when he was ready to strike, kill him, he was in full rage. Krishna, broke his promise. Okay, we know Krishna broke his promise, right? He picked up a chariot wheel and picked it up and ran towards Bhishma. Okay, and Arjun was running behind him, saying, "Stop." Okay. Now Bhishma do this. Okay, Bhishma is he is a Mahajan, right? He's a Mahajan. It's mentioned by he's a Mahajan. Okay, so Mahajan can never do anything wrong. Okay, he follows according to the rules and regulations, and he's authorized in the scriptures, right? But sometimes a Mahajan is doing things that may seem apparently contradictory to devotional service. Why is he killing a pure devotee Lord Arjun? He's doing it because he wants to glorify Lord Krishna, and he wants to glorify Arjun. to the extent that he's ready to defame himself. Vishnu was ready to defame himself. To show that in all circumstances, no matter what, the Lord is ready to break his promise just to save his devotee. Therefore, Krishna tells Arjuna, he says, I will declare because I break the promise, but you will never break the promise. Therefore, Kvanteya Patijanahi, that is to declare to all the world, Name Bhakti Pranashati, okay? Dharma, he says that you uphold Dharma. I can sometimes break my promise. Therefore, Arjuna declared that I will always be there to protect my devotee. Therefore, Bhishma Dev, also a first class devotee, to go to this pastime. Is that okay? That's the point. The second point is that Mare Krishna Rakhe Rakhe Krishna Mare Ke. That is that to kill someone, no matter what, not even your family, your relatives, your security guards can protect you. Okay? No one can protect you. Sorry?
Promises also.
Promises, yes, exactly. No one can protect you. So therefore, Rakhe Ke Mare Ke. So therefore, if Krishna wants to kill you, if Krishna wants to protect you, then no one will kill you. Sometimes you see people that are, as a doctor, I see patients that I'm sure will lose their life, but somehow miraculously they come back. Okay, I'm sure all of you know those stories, people come back. And suddenly people go to hospital for a little cold and they never come out. They die of full-blown sepsis, they get low blood pressure, the infection spreads to the entire body, and no matter anything, all the antibiotics and support, they die. Okay? But we do not have to go back, why did they die? We have to see what outcome. We have to learn from the outcome of that. That's the first point. The second thing is, made all these notes. In 41, Prahlad Maharaj, is a unique example. Okay? Prahlad Maharaj is above the three modes of material nature. Because he's above the three modes of material nature, why? Because the Lord is Anirdeshya. Anirdeshya means one who is all-pervasive, and to be all-pervasive, one has to be above the three modes of material nature. That's the second point. The third point is that the Lord, and if you go down to the purport, let's go all the way down, there's a Sanskrit word that says, Akhilatma. Akhilatma means that the Lord is present in each and every atom. Okay? In each and every atom, the guards of Hiranyakashipu that are trying to kill, Prahlad Maharaj, her swords or knives or maces and all the snakes and all the poison and all the fire, the Lord was inside each and every atoms. So therefore, number one, Prahlad Maharaj is above the three modes of nature. So if something material is trying to kill you and you're above the three modes, it's not possible. Because you're on a different dimension. The second thing is that the Lord is inside all these that are trying to kill Prahlad Maharaj, and nothing will touch him. Are you with me? Because Prahlad Maharaj was always with the Supreme Personality. Now this is one extreme. Now one of my question is that then why did Abhinav, Abhimanyu, why did he die in the battle of Mahabharata on the 14th day? Okay, why did Abhimanyu die? He was a pure devotee. He was the son whose parents?
Arjuna and Subhadra.
Subhadra, yes. Subhadra, who was a sister of Balaram, and Krishna could not save him. She's Yogamaya. She's not Yogamaya. Yogamaya is under her. Okay? She has the complete control of the entire world and the spiritual world. But she decided not to save her son. Okay? Think about that just for a moment. Okay? Abhimanyu was killed. Okay? So the thing is that the Lord, when He protects a devotee, He protects him on three levels. Okay? There are three levels. He can protect you on a physical level, then He did with Prahlad Maharaj. He can protect you on an emotional level. Okay? And the topmost level that He will always protect you as a devotee is the spiritual level. Okay? Prahlad Maharaj is protected on all three levels. Physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Physically, we read that. He was not affected by any of these weapons, whatever it was. Okay? Mantras, tantras, all these things, yantras do not affect Prahlad Maharaj. Okay? Hiranyakashipu was the biggest tantric, because he was the Dharma, and he also read Shiparan. He knew all the Vedas. He knew all the mantras. He could do anything. It's not the weapons. These weapons were little gain for him. Just by doing one mantra, he killed his son. But because Prahlad Maharaj protected on all three levels, none of these things touched him. Okay? Point number 2 is that the devotee is looking for spiritual protection. Because we have to understand that we're not this body, right? We're not this body, we're the spirit soul. Therefore, the physical protection is spiritual protection. And therefore, when we look at Abhimanyu in pastime, he was actually protected spiritually because he was taken out of this material world that's full of hate desires. You know, when you have hate and desire, we get entrapped in this material. Our senses are running us. But Krishna decided to take him back to this world. Okay? Therefore, he delivered him spiritually. Now, in modern day, someone might ask, you know, if you look at in modern day ISKCON, these great people, disciples, Srila Prabhupada, you know, back in 2002, Tamal Krishna Goswami, what happened to him? He died in a car, we shouldn't say that, but he left his body in a car crash. Where? In West Bengal, in a place called Fulia. Okay? Fulia is a place where Haridas Thakur chanted the 20,000 names every day. She left in a very auspicious place, and of course, Tamal Krishna Goswami, being a pure devotee, you know, he went back to God. He went back to serve Srila Prabhupada and somewhere else. Okay? More recently, during the beginning of COVID, Bhakti Churaswami left his body. Okay? He left his body. People might ask, you know, such a pure devotee, he was spreading the Krishna consciousness far and wide, he left his body. Such a, you know, he was the only one in ISKCON that got first initiation, second initiation, and sannyas all in one go. Prabhupada gave it to him right away. Okay? Prabhupada gave it to him right away. Very powerful devotee. But he left his body on the battlefield. Okay? And most recently, His Holiness Prabhupada Gopal Swami Maharaj. He left his body. Okay? So we think, why did these great devotees that are so close to Supreme Lord leave their bodies? Okay? Jagannath, he almost left his body in 1998 when he had the devastating stroke. He's still going on. There's a purpose to be reasonable because, you know, I mean, he says that I have to initiate 50,000 devotees. Prabhupada told me to do that. And other things, you know, again, and so forth. He had many things to do. But the point is, I'm telling my dear friends, is that when we see these things happening, we should not think them on a physical level, we should think on a transcendental spiritual level. That when a devotee leaves the body, that they go back to the spiritual world, because Krishna is relieving them of their spiritual, you know, of their full misfortunes. Okay, like that. Right? Is that okay so far? Yeah? Do you see that? So therefore, in the Mahabharata, we see that Arjuna was protected by the son Abhimanyu. Okay? Similarly, in the Ramayana, we see that Hanuman is protected. You know, he's protected by Lord Rama. But similarly, Jatayu is killed. But what happened to Jatayu? When he died at the hands of Ravana, who performed his last rites? Yes, Lord Ram and Lakshman were there personally. He got the darshan. So much so that even his father Dashrath did not Rama could not perform his own father's last rites, but he performed the last rites of Shiv Jatayu. Okay? And so it goes to show that the devotee is killed on a physical level, but never cannot be touched on a spiritual level. And that's what we understand from Prahlad Maharaj's pastimes in this plenary verse of 41. Okay? So therefore, when we get, Vyasa tells Yudhishthira Maharaj is also like a Mahajani. Therefore, he says that, you know, why the Pandavas go through so much difficulties. Therefore, Vyasadeva, as a guru, he says that it is due to the inscrutable will of the Lord that you must follow the inscrutable will of the Lord, and you follow the will of the Lord, then you'll be inscrutable comes the word scrutiny. Scrutiny means that you look at it and you find some errors. Okay? So when the Lord does some things, you should not question it. When the Guru says some things, you should not question the Guru. When you read something in Bhagavatam or you should never question these things, because these things are asomamrita. These are beyond these are beyond the material world. These are spiritual things like that. When the Lord does some things, although we might have difficulty understanding them, things because these are beyond our physical capabilities of understanding like that. So these things are not subject to any scrutiny. All right? Good. So that will close the class, and I think there's many more things to say. Oh yeah, I'm just going to give you a quick pastime. It's a nice quick pastime. I'll finish it off. So if you go to why the Prahlad Maharaj, why was he born in Fanny Demons? His Holiness Gaur-Govinda Maharaj explains this. So he explains pastime in Bhubaneswar in May 1995. So during the Nrsimha Chaturdashi, he explained to his devotees. So if you go to the Nrsimha Purana, there's a pastime of two personalities. Okay, they lived in a place in India called Avanti. The person's father's name was Vasu Sharma, and the mother's name was Sushila. So they had 5 sons. 4 of the sons were they're devotees, they're Vaishnavas, as a great biblical family. But the 5th son his name was Vasudev. He was a complete, he was a complete rogue. Okay, a complete rogue. He was kind of like modern day Ajinil, not our. Ajinil read in Candle 6, okay? Like Ajinil, okay? I say modern day because Ajinil came after him, okay, in Candle 6. So Vasudev was in love with a prostitute, okay? Bad things, drinking, prostitution like that. So you're a prostitute. And one day, they had a fight. The prostitute had a fight, and this Vasudev, 5th son, had a fight. And they fought physically and when they fought, the nighttime came, they were so tired that they fell asleep. That day they were so engaged in fighting that they did not eat, drink, or eat anything. And what was that day happened to be?
Ekadashi.
Nrsimha Chaturdashi.
Oh.
So Nrsimha Chaturdashi. They had a complete fast. And Lord Nrsimha said, oh, well, they have to get some punya. So in the next life, this prostitute was born in the heavenly planets as Apsara, and then later on she became a devotee of Nrsimhadev. It's mentioned somewhere else. And this person, this Vasudev, was born as Prahlad Maharaj. Okay? But because he did some bad things, he had to come in a demon family like that. So that's mentioned in the Nrsimha Purana. I just thought I'd share that with you. Any questions? We still have 2 minutes because I took extra time for Mishnah.
No problem.
Yes, Yuvanshi?
When you said that Lord protects on 3 levels,
Yes.
you said emotional level as well.
Yes.
Can you give more?
Yes, so sometimes what happens emotionally is that when material things hit us, we sometimes get too associated with material things. And then we start doubting our sadhana. I'm chanting, but I'm getting, disease. I'm getting, diabetes. I'm getting something worse than that, cancer. Or I'm chanting, but my cousin died in a bad accident, he was going to the temple. So sometimes these things affect us emotionally. So when we understand that the Lord is always protecting us, so that's what's meant by emotional protection. We should always keep our faith. That's in the form of Shraddha. Yes. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, like you mentioned, Vasudeva and the prostitute story.
Yes.
The guys fought when it was Nrsimha Chaturdashi.
Yes, they fasted on the Shraddha.
Yes. But Nrsimha took avatar.
Yes.
When the person became
Yes.
Nrsimha. So, how did Nrsimha Chaturdashi came before Nrsimha avatar?
Yeah, so that question was also asked. I thought you would ask that question. So that's Nrsimhadev comes as, there's something called Kapabed, an aspect called Kapabed, that is the Lord. Okay, these three Supreme Personalities of Godhead, Lord Nrsimhadev, Lord Ramachandra, and Lord Kalparavasara Avatar. These are the top 3 avatars. They always appear in everyone's house. When you go to India, any Vaishnava will have these 3. So these are the topmost forms of the Lord. So therefore, they always appear in one day of Lord Brahma. Even though it's that Nrsimhadev that happened in previous Kalpa, the Lord, in this Kalpa, it so happened that Prahlad Maharaj was born as the son of Vasu Sharma. So therefore, it was in this Kalpa, we're talking, of Lord Brahma, like that. Like other Kalpa, he might come as a different form, like that. Is that okay? So it happens that the Kalpa you're referring to, he did come as Nrsimhadev, Chaturdashi, the previous Kalpa. So Kalpa is one day of Lord Brahma. And therefore, in one day of Lord Brahma, Lord Krishna comes, right? Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes, therefore, not many people know about Lord Chaitanya. He comes one day, 4,500 years after Lord Krishna. Lord Ramachandra comes 2 million years ago, before Lord Krishna, and Nrsimhadev comes before him, in every day of Lord Brahma, like that. Okay? Yeah, so that's called Kappa.
She has a question.
Yes.
So yesterday in class it was mentioned that with karma you can't do a good thing to cancel out the bad thing. I was thinking with bhakti, is it that all of your future actions are nishkarma, or is it that all of your past fruitive results also get burnt up?
So with bhakti, The thing is that it's not so simple that we can say that, so bhakti will definitely all your previous karmas and future karmas to come. That's true. That's true. That's for sure. That's mentioned in the Padma Purana. So that all the previous things that come as a rabda, as a bija, and as a philosophical, that verse is mentioned in the Bhakti Samsadu. That is all levels of karma and sin are by bhakti. But the thing is that we keep on committing sinful activity. So when we keep on committing sinful activity through our thoughts or actions and through our words, then we can accumulate more and more karma. Bhakti will do that. So therefore, when we get initiated, right, when we take diksha, the spiritual master takes all your karma. So at that rate, you should leave your body. I'm not saying you do that. If you leave, you'll go back to God, Yeah. But that's not the point, right? Because as soon as the next day, I did it, I did some bad things, that's why I'm still here, right? Or we're here, other pure devotees like Rasata Prabhu is here to save us, right? Dhammaprana Prabhu is here because they're pure devotees, they save us. But us rascals, we do bad things, so we stay. And therefore accumulate more and more karma. But yes, bhakti is so powerful that even by chanting once the pure name, you go back to God like that. But you have to do it completely purely. Yeah. Yes. Hare Krishna. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you very much.